Okay, everybody, thanks for the responses to the vids. Listen, this is so important right now, this video. This is maybe the most important video I've ever done. It's a testimony. This is so mind-boggling that you must listen. You must listen to the whole thing. I'll also give you a radio show link for the other night. So if you want to get all the details about how this happened and what happened, you can go listen to the radio show. Okay, get ready, because here we go. I'm going to give you a testimony. The Lord has told me unequivocally the sword is coming. And I'm going to show you how he told me. It's just so fascinating. It is so supernatural. It is so impossible that you'll know it's the Lord. Okay, before I start, I want you to know that back in 2008, I told the Lord, there's no way I'm going to go show everybody this stuff that you showed me. He was revealing all the stuff in the hieroglyph to me. He was revealing the images on the U.S. currency. He had given me a prophetic utterance. And I said, why are you giving this to me? And he told me that I was to go tell and warn everybody. And I freaked out. I said, no, I can't do that. There's no way. And then he showed me Ezekiel. I was in prayer, and he showed me Ezekiel, and it was a watchman's call. And it said, if the watchman seeth the sword coming, and he warneth not the people, I will hold the watchman personally responsible, his blood for theirs. But if the watchman warneth the people, and they don't repent, their blood is on their own hands. Okay, I'm paraphrasing that. Well, that is the only reason I stepped out and did the Just a Messenger series. Because I fear God. I was like, oh my Lord, God is really telling me I have to go do this. This is crazy. And so that's been my ministry since 2008. That's where it started. You have to know that to begin this. Y'all should, maybe some of y'all know my testimony, where I got saved in the alley and all that. You should go look at it. We'll put a link. This is it, people. Jesus is coming, and he's coming quick. Let me show you how he showed me. This is fascinating. So here we go. Get ready. The other day on Friday, okay, guys, listen, I'm scheduled for surgery. I was supposed to be in surgery this upcoming Thursday for double inguinal hernia, and one of them's on the verge of strangulation, and so I have to get in. Now listen very closely. Last Friday, a friend of mine, Billy Lojak, he sent me a text message. I'll show you an image in this video. And it said, the king is coming. And he wrote, I think, look at the handle on the sword. And so he mentioned the sword in the text message. It was an image of what's supposed to be Christ, with his crown. He's got his sword out and he's blowing a shofar. Well, I didn't think much about it. I just went, yeah, that's cool. No big deal. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, then over the weekend, I'm working on this house that was given to me. I was given a house as a payback for a house that was taken, literally stolen from me. And so this house was in complete disrepair. It was owned by a gay guy, and it was so run down. It was just, I had to gut the entire house. I will put some images in here from that so you can see what disrepair the house was in. So when I started rebuilding this house, the Lord showed me there were 3 het symbols on the house. A het is the number 8 in Hebrew. We'll show you an image of all this. And I was sitting in my driveway, and I said, how am I going to get rid of these 3 sections of red brick that are in the middle of all this gray brick? And I heard the Lord say, that represents the mercy seat. I thought I was hearing things. And so I photographed it, and I sent it to my buddy Todd. I go, what do you make of this? I didn't know it was a het symbol then. I just knew it were these 3 red bricks that looked like a pi symbol in math. And I heard, while I was sitting in the driveway, that represents the mercy seat. And I went, wow, what does that mean? And so I photographed it. I sent it to Todd, and he calls me back. He goes, wow, that's the het symbol in Hebrew. And it literally represents the blood over the doorposts when they left Egypt. And I went, You're kidding. It also in Gematria, it represents the number 888. It's the number of Jesus Christ. That is the number of Jesus Christ. It also represents the mercy of God. And I was like, how crazy is this? So I have this house that was given to me as a payback for a house that was literally stolen from me that I had paid off. When I took over this house, I tore down the middle wall. There is a middle wall that divided the house, and I tore it down. And as I was working on this house, everything started manifesting into this incredible biblical parallel. The middle wall of partition has been torn down, making the two one. So the two halves of the house became one. I was like, that's weird. The floor had this black tar we couldn't get off, so we stained the floor as black. And it made a mirror reflection of the whole house. That's the exact paradigm the Lord has shown me. Now get ready, because this whole house is symbolic of us being the rebuilt temple. We are the temple of God, not a building, but he's showing me through this manifestation. But please listen on how he showed me the sword is coming. I just finished this house. Get ready. Okay, now that the house is done, I had a friend in from Canada, and he helped me move my stuff over here. And as I was arranging this house, there's a bar, and I'm going to give you a little video of this house so you can see it for yourselves. There's a bar, and it had a vase on it. And the Lord told me, I was staring out the window, and I just said the words Ezekiel 7. And my friend looked at me like, why are you saying that? And I was like, I don't know. And then I heard the Lord say to me, go buy gladiolas, red gladiolas, and put them in the vase on the bar. And I thought, how weird, am I hearing things? And I said that to Mike. I go, wow, that's crazy. I hear go buy red gladiolas and put them in the vase on the bar. That is so random. And Mike said, did you just hear that? And I go, yeah. And so I said, I guess we better go get some red gladiolas. I always do what I hear the Lord tell me to do. And so we left to go get red gladiolas, and we went to this place called Central Market in San Antonio. It's a grocery store, but they have everything. And we walked in there, and I walked into the floral department, and I asked for red gladiolas. And they said, no, we don't have them. And they said, we do have them, but we just don't have any right now. You could try Travis Wholesale Florist. And it's Sunday. And they said, but Travis is closed. And I went, oh. And they said, but you can probably get them there on Monday. And I went, okay. So I walk out in the parking lot, and there's a lady that has two children, one in a shopping basket, because he's a toddler, he's like 1.5, and another little girl that's about 3 that's walking. And her grocery cart is stuck between the grooves of these cobblestones. And I stopped because she was right in front of my car. And I said, can I help you? And she said, oh, no. And she goes, oh, my gosh, I know you. And I looked at this young lady, and I knew I didn't know her. And she says, you're Jonathan. I said, no. I said, I'm Jonathan Kleck. And she goes, oh, my gosh, I've seen you on YouTube. You helped wake me up. She goes, oh, this is a divine appointment. And I went, oh, well, nice to meet you. She said, my name's Darren. And I said, nice to meet you. I said, who's the little one in the cart? And she goes, that's Ezekiel. And I went, Ezekiel. And I go, wow, Ezekiel 7. And then I thought, why did I say that? I knew I just said it at the house before I came over to get the flowers. And now I'm in a parking lot meeting Ezekiel. And I just went, that is so random. And so she was real nice. She prayed for me. She prayed for, my healing. And we went on our way. On Sunday, that same day, later in the day, I went to run an errand. I dropped Mike off at my house, and I went to run my errand, and I came back, and Mike had looked up the Ezekiel 7, and it says, an end has come, the end has come, the end has come. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And I go, that's really random. And then I heard the Lord say, look up the meaning of gladiolus. And I'm like, that is really random. And so I look up the meaning of gladiolus, and it says a sword. And I'm like, that's weird. And then it says gladiolus also represent moral character, integrity, faithfulness. Well, guys, I've given my life for this mission. And the Lord's giving me a message like, you did it. Moral rectitude. You stayed the course. You finished. And I'm just going like, this is crazy. The meaning of gladiolus means sword. Then I start reading Ezekiel 7 and I'm like, oh my Lord, the end has come, the end has come, the end has come. Because of their abominations. Well, y'all know about, the gay marriage thing. It says, I will bring the sword against them. And it's in Ezekiel 7. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So now I'm reading the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel 7, and end has come, and it's about a sword, like gladiolus. Because of their abominations, the sword is coming. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm sitting there just freaking out, going, man, what is going on? An end has come, the end has come. Well, I'm reading, now the sword is coming upon them for their abominations. Well, then I go to back to the grocery store, and we get some groceries, and then we have to go to Walmart, and I'm in Walmart with Mike, and we're walking through, and I'm kind of like in a daze, and I just kind of wake up, and I'm standing in front of a section, and I'm staring at something, and I'm like, what am I staring at? And I was just like in a trance, and I wake up, and I'm staring at a movie that's side by side on a movie rack, and it says Sword of Vengeance, and it has a sword that's got blood on it, and I'm like, oh my Lord, you got to be kidding me. And I'm just thinking, that is insane. And so I photograph it. Of course, I go home, I do a radio program about it, and then I just try and process what's going on. And the Lord tells me the sword is coming. Well, oddly enough, when I bought the gladiolas, I walked into peacock feathers, and the Lord says, buy the peacock feathers and put them in your house. Guys, I got saved in Peacock Alley. That's where I got saved. And I'm just going like, my head is spinning. I'm like, this is crazy. I've gotten messages from the Lord before, but this is just off the hook. And so I'm just going like, oh my gosh. So anyway, I do the radio program on Saturday, and then, Sunday's just off the hook. I do the radio program on Monday. Well, I go to drop Mike off at the airport today, and we walk in the new house, and these flowers are all starting to bud. They were only green stalks. The Lord told me to buy them with no flowers budding. And then we come over this morning, they're all starting to bud. And Ezekiel 7 says, the rod has budded. Their pride has blossomed. And I'm sitting here going, man, this is so crazy. I take Mike to the airport to drop him off. He's leaving. He's in the car. I get a phone call from the doctor's office, the surgeon. And they tell me they've doubled the price on my surgery. And I'm like, you got to be kidding. I was like, I can't just do that. I can't just all of a sudden, I'm supposed to be at your office today, come and show up with double the price. I can't do it. And so I cancel my surgery. And the Lord tells me, this is it. The sword is coming. Well, I go home to my house. I drop Mike off at the airport. I get out of my car. And as I open the door, a bird drops a bomb on my neck. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the heck? It just hits me all over the back of the neck. As soon as I'm exiting the car, and I hear in my spirit, it's time to start looking up. I'm like, man, am I losing it? And I'm like, man, I look up and there's this dove above me that just totally bombed me. I videotaped all this. And then I'm like, this is so random. And I call Todd and I tell Todd. Todd gets an email and it says the conjunction is happening. Like, the star that lined up at the time of Jesus' birth. The conjunction is happening. It's time for people to put down their cell phones and look up. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Well, here it comes. I go in my house because I've moved out of this other house, and I go in the house that I'm moving out of. It's still got stuff scattered around, but the main stuff is moved. And I'm going to go in there and shower and get this bird drop bomb off me. And I go in and there's one DVD that was left at the house because it was a duplicate. And I look down at the table and it's got a guy holding a sword and it says, Return of the King. And I'm just going, I'm just like, this is absolutely crazy. Then Todd calls me up and says, hey, Johnny, Bear, Gary from Bear049 on YouTube called me up and said, hey, I need you to call Jonathan. He doesn't really know me. I don't really know Gary. I may have talked to him once in my life. And he said, the Lord told me to tell you to call Jonathan and tell him the Lord loves him very much and not to worry. He's going to be okay. He doesn't know about my surgery. And yeah, I'm a little concerned because I may have a strangulated hernia that just bursts, and that is bad. So anyway, look at what's happening. I'm on the verge of disaster. The world is teetering on the brink of disaster. And the Lord showed me emphatically, the sword is coming. So all I can tell you people is be ready. Now I'm going to take some little videos and Todd's going to edit this for you guys and let you see some of this stuff I'm talking about. All right. God bless. Take care, guys. I'll see you at the party. It's coming. It's exciting. There's the house. There's the chet. Now I'll go over this way. There's the other chet. And there's the other chet. So the house has chet, chet, chet on the front of the house. Notice one beam is higher than the other. Sorry guys, I'm trying to avoid the bushes. One's high. It looks like the cross is at Calvary. There's the chet right there. House, the whole house, you can see the mirror reflection. There's Randy. Turn around and say hi, Randy. Hi, Randy. There's a house, you can see the mirror reflection. It's a mirror reflection of itself. That is metallic epoxy, represents the 3 crosses at Calvary. Okay, here is the front of the house looking out. There's the bar. This is where he told me to put the flowers. Look, they're all starting to bud. This picture Cat gave me. There's the peacock feathers. There's the rest of these, the rest of the flowers. The painting my son did, it represents, he's 12 years old. It's represents the infinity symbol. Part of it's blue with the red center. The other part of it's blue with a green center. The other part is green with a blue center. It's a opposite, kind of like the yin yang, but infinity symbol. There's the kitchen. And the addition of the room has all the artwork. Here's the addition. This is the hieroglyph of Akhenaten, the Nefertiti. There's the dead sheep. There's the creature, which is a serpent-like human eating his own child, which is the paradigm revealed. Here is my artwork that I haven't straightened this room up completely. It's shows the second coming and Jesus coming on the clouds of heaven. That represents the face, and there's the sword going up. He's coming on the clouds of heaven with the sword. I did this before I got saved. And over here is a crucifixion of the final judgment and the lake of fire and hell. And there's a carving I did that's identical to the hieroglyph that I did before I got saved. And there's an image of a crucifixion between the 2 halves of this. On this side is Christ coming on the clouds of heaven. Over here is the crucifixion and the lake of fire. And under the other side is where those that escape. Now watch this. The bathroom that I built, and the Lord gave me directions on what to do because of where the plumbing was. This base represents the enemy and the sins of the enemy. This red basin represents the washing in the blood of Christ. The shower also represents the same thing. There's 3 waterfalls. Each one has 8 red drops. Het, het, het. 888. This is the bathroom. And it was supernatural the way this bathroom was set up. It basically had to be built this way because of plumbing issues and other stuff. This is where Juan got saved. When we were doing the plumbing under this shower, we tunneled all the way under this floor to the outside of the house. Right over to here. Right over to here is where we tunneled under. And that's where Juan, his sight was restored. He was blind in one eye, and his sight was restored. Went out in front of the house, and he prayed and received Christ. This is a very supernatural location. I mean, for me, the Lord put me here. The place itself isn't. It's just the idea that he put me here. That's one of my first pieces of using light as a medium. It's a stop sign, and it's right side up, upside down skulls, which is the exact paradigm the Lord showed me. Here we go, folks. Jesus is coming.